Good afternoon, Cody. And we'll give it a few minutes for other people to join, and then we'll get started. We'll kick off at 2 o'clock, and folks that join a little bit late this is recorded. Folks that join a little bit late will be able to catch up. All right. 2 o'clock on the dot. Let's go ahead and get started. And anybody that joins late can catch up from the recording. I'm Dan Crouse. I'm the founder of QualityEngineer.ai. We are a platform for giving quality engineers superpowers and enabling them to get back to real quality engineering. Our goal with this service was to leverage AI to help with the content creation, the Excel files that exist in the world of quality that have been such a time suck for quality engineers for the past 30 years. Using AI, we're able to automate a lot of these workflows and get engineers back to the actual engineering. What we're going to showcase today is the process FMEA life cycle of taking a drawing and creating. I'm not going to show the actual creation of a process FMEA, but because that takes quite a bit of time and we wouldn't be able to do that live. So I have a living example that we'll work from, and we're going to take the risk mitigation tasks and show how the real engineering is in the risk mitigation, and the documentation just takes care of itself. So to begin with, I would like to introduce myself. I'm Dan Crouse, founder. I've been in quality for the past 25 years in quite a few industries: contract manufacturing for electronics in healthcare, aerospace, defense, but also automotive applications and some consumer product as well. I've got quite a bit of background in quality, and I also have some software development, which is why I chose to go down this path of developing this platform. With me is Pat Crouse. Pat, would you like to introduce yourself?
Sure. So I'm Pat Crouse, and I also have a lot of quality experience in my background, specifically for Intel Corporation, working for both high volume manufacturing for both silicon as well as packaging, as well as process development, again, for both silicon process technology as well as silicon packaging technology. um, Before changing careers about a decade ago to become a software developer. And I've been doing that specifically around AI for the last 3 years or so. I'm excited to partner with Dan to bring this to fruition.
So, I hope everybody's had a chance to register a free account with the site and get on board. If not, after this is over, get on the site and play around with it and kick the tires and see what you think. We're going to start with once you log into the system, this is the interface. There is an onboarding. Keep in mind that the more context that you give the AI, the better output you will get. because the links between artifacts or documents or whatever the system is creating will depend largely on the information available to the AI. Now, there is an artificial intelligence layer to this, but a lot of this is just organization of the content and connecting links that exist in the actual documents, not necessarily artificial intelligence enabled. What I mean by that is, uh, here's an example of a part. And with individual parts, you have the process flow, the process FEMA, the control plan, and the inspection plan. These are all supposed to be linked documents where one component of the process flow affects process FEMA, your control plan, and your inspection plan. As it exists today, with these documents living in Excel files and off on a shared drive or SharePoint or whatever, they're disconnected documents. And when you make changes to one, that doesn't populate to the other documents. In our system, that connection is established and controlled. So, if you get a new revision of the drawing, it will flow through these documents and not auto-populate. It allows you to be the human in the loop and populate those as it goes. It shows you the relationship. What we're going to focus on now is the process FEMA, and this gets generated directly from the drawing. So if we actually go back here and take a look at this part, I'll pull the part up. And our system actually does balloon drawings. It's this is version 2 of the balloon drawing feature, and I'm currently working on a version 3 to add a little bit more intelligence, computer vision outside of the world of AI to isolate tolerances and do a better feature extraction from the drawings. But what we do here is take a look at the parts that get loaded up in the system, and then you can create all of the process documents from that. One of which is the FEMA, the failure mode and effects analysis. What happens here is that it goes step by step and identifies potential failure modes and the effects. And it does still use the old RPN calculation, just because computationally this is easier for our system to use than the new risk priority numbers that are being used by different systems. So we do still use the RPNs, but we can use the other systems as well. That'll be an option that you can toggle on and off. Now, the one thing that we do here, and we've generated, I think this is 74 potential failure modes, and click on any one of these, and it will give you the potential cause, preventative controls, detection controls, and recommended action. This recommended action is what we're going to focus on. So the argument could be made, seeing a site like this, that in the document generator, you can select a part and click on create the full cascade of documents. The argument could be made that, great, so we've enabled the ability for people to electronically pencil whip documents. But that's not what the point of what we're doing here. What we're actually doing here is go back to the process FEMA. It's going to give you these failure modes and preventative actions to put in place in a much more thorough way than has been done before. And you can always add additional tasks and remove anything that's erroneous or you don't think is correct. So what happens here now, this work is automatically taken care of. This work is done for you, and you don't have to spend days filling out an Excel file. The point being, you can create the task list of items of the risk mitigation tasks that need to be done. Once you generate that task list, then this becomes what your engineers work on. This is the actual boots on the ground engineering. So if you click on this one individual item here, this was identified in the process FEMA of what the problem is, why it's a problem, and how to fix it. And you can assign it to a team member and click on assign. And now this sits in Pat's workflow. And if he doesn't get it done by the 14th, it will email him and let him know that, that there is active project management behind the scenes that will follow up with assignees to make sure their tasks are done. In addition to that, one thing that our system does is it knows what it's looking for. It knows what the corrective action should be. So Pat can't go into the system and just type in done and submit. The AI will recognize that and say, yeah, that's not good enough. We need a more descriptive explanation of what was done. Because at the end, we're looking for objective evidence to improve on this risk mitigation process. What we have here is 74 activities that will move the needle on the overall RPN in the process FEMA. What I'm going to do here is this is something that I have in my demo only, is I'm going to auto-complete all of these tasks and show you how we go from here to rescoring the process FEMA. Because let me take one step back and show you what the process FEMA looks like right now. If you were to download the process FEMA now, it just has the original scoring. Let me share this window. Hold on. It just has the original scoring. It doesn't have the rescored tasks or the risk mitigation activities that were completed. So we're going to go back to our task list. And, individually, you would normally come in here and type in exactly what was done and submit for approval. And then the requester is the one who actually approves a task and closes it out for good. And then once you have enough tasks that you want to rescore the process FEMA and submit this to your customer, that's when you come to your process FEMA. Oh, I need to close out. Hold on. Let me take one moment. I need to go to my tasks and autocomplete. All right. That is not something that's going to be available to people. That's just for demonstration purposes, but we just closed out 74 action items. So now if we go to the parts library and the process FEMA, we can click on action items and rescore. Now we have this button here for rescore your process FEMA. And this comes up. These were all of the previous severity, occurrence, and detection. And as we all know, you can't change severity. So this is locked in, so you can't change that. But the AI scored our new occurrence and detection, and it gave us the new RPN. So we're going to go ahead and save the rescore. And if you look at your KPIs for this process FEMA now, we went from a 9K total RPNs down to 3K. So a 62% improvement. And it gives you some key metrics here to show what improvement was made. We had 2 items with RPNs above 200. Now there are none, 100% improvement. And the same thing with RPNs over 100. So that's great. So we rescored that. We can go back to the actual FEMA. And when we download it again, let me share this one. What we have now is a dashboard on the front of before versus after. And it also shows the improvement. Here's your original process FEMA, and here is all of your corrective actions. Wait a minute. I'm sharing the wrong Excel file. Yep. Let me make sure that I'm sharing the correct Excel file. Here we go. So here's the correct Excel file. With the dashboard, when you open up the file, it shows the before versus after and percent improvement. Here's that original process FEMA with the risk priority numbers in it. And on the third tab, you have all of your corrective actions. Because we just auto-completed all of these, it didn't list the objective evidence, but this is where when you close out an item, you're going to explain what was done and the objective evidence for improvement. Now, what we've created here is a process FEMA where a majority of the engineering activity was focused on actual risk mitigation steps, not
Dan, are you
on.
sharing the Excel file?
I was sharing. I don't know how
I
it got.
just see the audience screen.
Okay.
There we go.
Back to the dashboard, the original process FEMA, and the corrective actions with the objective evidence. Point being, we're taking what used to be a quality engineer sitting at his computer typing away an Excel file. Now we actually have people focused on the actual risk mitigation activities. So this would be the process FEMA that gets sent with the PPAP package to your customers. And it has everything rescored and properly mitigated. So that largely is what I wanted to go through today. There's a lot on this site. Just because we've created a platform that enables a lot, from project management to your basic quality tasks of creating PPAPs and corrective action loops and calibration, supplier management, customer management, statistics, because we needed a statistics package, and then your basic intelligence platforms that gives you the context for all of the derived content that we create. So there's a lot here. I would recommend that users get on the system and play with it, and just understand what it's capable of now, and also understand that we're building this out as we're launching it. So we appreciate the engagement. That said, I'll leave the sharing screen up, but if anyone has questions, now's the time to enter any questions that you might have into the system. There's a Q&A screen if you have any questions.
And also, as you engage with the site going forward, feel free to suggest future topics for webinars. We want to make this an ongoing kind of engagement especially as we iterate and roll out additional features. We're going to be hosting more of these in the future. So if there's anything of particular interest, certainly reach out and let us know, and it will get on the agenda.
Yeah, that's a good point. The next one so there's a whole big topic that I want to cover in a series of webinars. One big one is supplier management. This platform does supplier management very well, and it has a supplier portal for your suppliers to engage with. So issuing PPAPs, managing your supplier corrective action reports, and onboarding of new suppliers, the self-assessment audit, the regulatory, your ISO certifications. If your supplier has an ISO cert that is expiring, it will let you know. And that sort of agentic supplier management is something that's fairly new in a field like this. So that's something that I want to have a whole series of webinars about that. So, first question from Cody. During the process FEMA, AI assistant changed RPN based on my criteria and why. Uh, so the RPN logic is something that is hard coded into the site, but you're absolutely right. Cody's asking about whether about how the RPNs are assigned, and right now that's just coded in the background. I will make that available, and what we'll do actually is for process FEMAs that will become a fourth tab because that's very important when you're communicating to your customers how you scored RPNs. So you can change those numbers that get auto assigned. Uh, and once you change it, it will stick with that feature. But the logic for the auto assignment will be something that I add to a fourth tab in that Excel export. The another question that we got is the price. So right now, the way we have this, let me pull up the pricing strategy. Uh, there are tiers because not everybody needs the full horsepower that we have available. So there are tiers available for pricing. The most accessible one is the starter pack. There's the free version that gives you the ability to get in and generate some flows and see what it's capable of, but you're going to quickly hit the guardrails of the free account. The starter account gives you a little bit more access, but really what most people are going to focus on is the professional license. Once you get into expert and enterprise, this is where you have custom branding. So you put your logo and your colors and your custom letterhead on the site, and you come to the website and it just looks like your web page. And all of the exports look like it came from your systems. That's at the enterprise level and expert. Also, with the expert and enterprise level, it enables team engagement, which is a topic that we'll cover in detail in another webinar. But the team engagement really is where the magic happens. Uh, any other questions? I had one question that I'm looking for. Uh, the what happens if so this goes back to this isn't necessarily about the platform, but just what happens if the activity that you take on a topic doesn't actually reduce the RPN. Understandable, and in the quality world nothing is perfect. There are a lot of times where you put effort into mitigating risk, but it doesn't change the needle. Just to understand that your customers are going to recognize that you did work on that, and that future risk mitigation may be necessary. There's a question about plans for developing design FEMAs. Yeah, absolutely. That we're working on design FEMAs. The original vision for this site was more around component suppliers. But as we build out into other sectors, we're going to include the design aspect. So design FEMAs will be included, yes. Um, And design FEMAs, we're also planning on assembly type documentation. So we're talking work instructions, training, overall training control, like operator training and control of that and documentation of that. How does this work with multi-site teams? Let me share that really quick because I don't think we didn't get into that much at all. When someone signs up for the site and it's the first person to sign up for a specific organization, they're going to be able to assign teammates, and those teammates are, if you go back to when I assigned a specific task to Pat, those teammates sit right here, and you can invite teammates to the site to participate, and there is a teammate portal. So if someone is just going to be closing out tasks and not using the site for the purpose that it's intended, they're just going to be filling out tasks and closing it out, then they don't need a seat. So, a paid seat is for someone that's going to be generating agentic content. So all of your team members go in here, and then the project management pieces interact with your teammates, and that's how you create the collaboration. Anyone have any other questions? Pat and I are always available. So if you have questions, it looks like we have one question coming in. But Pat and I are available. And also, if you would like to schedule time with us for a consult, we are more than happy to get on Teams or a call and chat with you. This is a developing platform, but the solutions now that are available are very real. We've got a couple of customers that are really using it to its fullest extent, and I'm happy to see it. It is exactly the reason that I created the site. Pat, have you got anything to add?
I'm just excited to be on the journey as well. So this is exciting times ahead.
We've got one question here. Yes. So there's one about context, about giving the system your quality management manual, your QMS manual, all of that. There's another question about doc control, and I'll get to that. But we had one question here about giving it more context so it can draw better conclusions. Yeah, and that's exactly right. So in the customer portal, entering in your customers, entering in your suppliers, and giving it more context. In the setting menu, you have your what industry and what regulatory requirements your company follows, what quality standards you have, and the equipment list and gauges. We have created a calibration system now. So the quality inspection equipment will be in the calibration piece, but the more context that you can give the site, the better the output will be curated for your solution. So yes, giving it as much information. And any plans for document control. We have levels of document control baked in now. We I hadn't really envisioned doc control for like drawings, but we can definitely go down that path. There's some control mechanisms there that we would need to implement. Digital signatures which I have in other areas of the site, but that it's not been rolled out to mass public access yet. So the answer for dot control is yes, and I would like to hear more about what folks would want in a document control platform, because we want to make sure we adhere to standards, and we don't create something that isn't going to meet your needs. That document control, like for example, in the medical device world, as soon as you get into document control, you have to create the entire part history. That's something that's very important. And for that industry, as we create that sort of platform, we need to understand what industries are using it so we can customize. The one thing to point out about document control, though, is the documents that we do enable, what we create here, there is always version control. So anything that gets changed, like your process schemas, your control plans, any of the 18 elements of your PPAP, if that changes, there's a change log with all of that. We've got one more, we've got another question coming in. We'll wait for that. That was a long-winded answer for dot control. I'm planning on doing that. It's just there is a lot of regulations around dot control, and I want to make sure that we do it in a responsible way.
Standards compliant while simultaneously meeting the needs and expectations of the customer base is the part that I'm most excited to explore.
Standards compliant. That is, yeah, that's the big one. Standards compliant, because we don't want to get our customers into a sticky wicket. Asking about folks that are new to quality engineering and folks without much experience. That is an excellent question, and that's something that I'm tackling now. There is an education link on the page. If you come to the website, the public-facing website, and click on Learn, we have blogs and examples and webinars. There will be an education piece to this. So for new engineers, absolutely, this is going to be a great platform to learn. But understand that we're not, this will be a great platform to learn, but we're not positioning ourselves to replace the big folks out there that tackle standards compliance education. But we are a great resource for learning the basics of quality engineering, absolutely. And we're going to focus on education. There's a question about who our top competitor is. And to be honest, in the world of agentic uh, agentic AI quality control, quality engineering, there's not really another competitor out there that does what we do, uh, and has the background agentic AI layers. And what I mean, I'll explain that in a minute. There's not really a competitor that does what we do. A perfect example is in the supplier management world. When you give us your supply base and explain who your suppliers are, we have supply chain management bots that go out in the world and scrape for information. And if they find supply chain risk in the system, they will take what they found, reference your supply base, and if you're exposed to that risk, it will let you know. A perfect example, a few years back, there was a Japanese supplier that had found out that they were not correctly reporting their material certs. Led to a big problem in the aluminum and copper world. Some of you may know this. And it also led to me traveling the world auditing suppliers for a year and a half. We found out about that 6 months later. What our system does is scrub sources of supply chain risk, looking for topics exactly like that, and then it looks at your supplier base and it will tell you that, hey, you've been exposed to this issue. Here's what you need to do to get in front of it. No other system does that right now, none. And same thing with your quality certs, your ISO certs. You've got a supplier with an ISO cert that's expiring in 6 months. You're going to want to know that. No other system out there right now has that agentic AI layer. Um, Phase control. Yeah. Uh, Phase control to help a newer QE. That's in project management. So there will be a whole series of webinars on project management. Um, this project management is a big topic that we will tackle sort of iteratively. What we've enabled here is it helps you through a process. So in the project management module, you're able to define who your customer is, what the regulatory compliance is, whether it's ISO or whether it's aerospace or VDA or whatever. You define what the platform you're going to use, and then it will walk you through the stage gate new product NPI process. And it will tell you every step of the way what activities need to happen, what deliverables are required, and it will do the high level project management for you. And again, there's an AI bot that sits in the background of projects and follows up with all of the team members to make sure deliverables are executed on. A perfect example, I just created that one yesterday. So here's an individual project. You can look at the high level Gantt chart. This is the project planning. You go into the individual activities, and it's not just the activity, but it will tell you what needs to happen and by when. And we can always add an education layer to this. Uh, how can we improve our CAPA management on the platform? Okay, CAPAs. So there's two legs to CAPA. There is the internal corrective action and the supplier corrective action. Our site does both. Uh, there are NCRs and non-conforming reports. Sometimes you just want to report something and not necessarily kick a corrective action off. And sometimes you do want a hard-coded correct CAPA. This platform manages both. And for suppliers, there are scars and cars here. You actually right now kick off a corrective action in the individual supplier, and you can activate a new corrective action for suppliers. So this is something I would like to have an actual individual webinar on corrective actions and supplier corrective actions as well. What about the full APQP? You're absolutely right. So you can create the complete PPAP packages from a part. Uh, this is an individual part, but we're creating a new PPAP package for this part. Uh, that's the PPAP request. So to create the customer facing PPAP package, we're going to define this as a machine part and click on customer package. And it's a level 3. Select industry. We'll just say this is an automotive part and click on what is preventing me. Select a customer. Oh, I don't have the customer defined. So, but yes, this does all 18 elements of a typical level 3 PPAP. And I just don't have the customer defined. I don't have any customers defined in my platform to showcase that right now. If that's a topic that folks would like to see in a future webinar, I can add that. We've got one more question coming in. Thanks for all the questions. The good thing about the PPAP platform that we do have, both the PPAP platform for internal parts that you provide to your customers and the PPAP platform for suppliers has an AI layer to it. So if you have a PPAP request for a supplier, they're going to come to the site and submit their MSAs, their process schemas, and all of that. And it gets evaluated by the AI real time. So now, instead of a supplier submitting all of their documents and they need to fix 15 different things, they will get real-time feedback as immediately as they submit their documents. Can you do a full APQP or just PPAP? You can do the full APQP. The PPAP is one element, but in the project management, this is where you can create a new program, and this is the full 5 stages of the advanced quality planning right here. It is much just a PPAP, but we have the full project management piece built into the project management platform. All right. Any other questions? And feel free, of course, to reach out to Pat and I. We're always available. Pat at and Dan at QualityEngineer.ai. Go to the website, and there's a contact form on the site as well. We're also on LinkedIn. We've got a pretty substantial social media footprint now. So yeah, reach out, and we're here to help. It looks like we've got one more question coming in before we finish up. How can someone be engaged to work with you? Reach out, send me an email, Dan at QualityEngineer.ai, and I'll give you, we'll schedule some time and we can work together. Absolutely. Thank you, Kendara. Any other questions? This engagement was recorded, and I'll make this available on the website under the webinar section. And yeah, by all means, reach out with any questions. We're available, and we're excited to see how we can help you with your quality engineering tasks. We've lived in a world where quality engineers were stuck filling out Excel files, and we're excited about getting engineers back on the floor doing real risk mitigation and proper quality engineering. And this is how we get there. So thank you very much. Have a good day. Reach out if you have any additional questions.